92.7 FM.
One family. One radio. 92.7 Super FM.
Your one family, one.
The kids, because they're not chummy like that. So it made us think about sibling rivalry and sibling relationship.
Yeah.
You know, how does it work for you and your siblings? One of the things that we found out with their relationship is that he said, because I was saying to him, your parents, what are they saying about this? He said, well, they don't really know much, because it seems like they were brought up in that kind of house where nobody really
it's like mind your
encouraged
business
them to be close. You know, their parents didn't encourage them to
do
talk.
things together.
Like you were telling us about your mom and how she would tell your brothers, oh yeah, go to her room.
Exactly.
Just go and talk.
Just have a conversation, because at some point technology was taking all of the time at home. My brothers would be on their phones, either watching a movie or playing some games or just chit-chatting with friends away. And I mean, my mom noticed that it became a thing where throughout the entire day we would hardly speak, and she was like, no, I don't want that. So she would take their phones and say, go to your sister's room, whatever you all want to talk about. If it's music, if it's dance, do it. And so we became maybe even a little too cordial. I had to tell them, before you come into my room, you have to knock. So in seeing what has happened with Kemi and Yinka, I've come to understand that sometimes, just sometimes, do you think that the onus is on parents to actually ensure that their children are just more than cordial?
You see this question?
To put them together in go and do this with your sister. With your brother, do this. You both should go and get me something. It should be like a thing where there's togetherness.
Yeah, you teach them how
to bond.
Listen, this is not a conversation just for us. So we're going to tell you to call in. Calling and tell us how it works in your family. And how's your relationship with your siblings?
Because that's important.
Because Kemi and Yinka are... My friend Yinka is the only sister he has. She's the only... I mean, he's the only
brother
that she
just
has.
Two.
They're just two of them. Two of them.
How or where did this relationship go
south, right?
How?
The number to call to have the conversation with us, because we'd like to know what you think. How can they mend these fences? They're all adults now, they have kids.
And tell us about your own family, your relationship
yes.
with your siblings as well.
It's 0705-6900-923. That's 0705-6900-927. Now, you can send us a message on the number, or you can send a WhatsApp message, or you can call us. The number again is
0705-6900-927.
You can also call on
0802-502-7711. 0802-502-7711 is yet another number to call us on.
Or you can send a text message to 0903-714-2798. That's 0903-714-2798.
There's one thing that I absolutely love with, I think it's, I would trickle it back to my mom, because I remember my mom always, my brothers are not twins, but if you see both of them, you would think they're non-identical twins, because they look alike. They have the same body physique. I mean, one just started going to the gym to look like the other. The last one has a huge manly body physique. The other is just, he's more lankier than the other. But he would literally, they would even say that his younger brother was older than he was. Sometimes. But my mom made sure that every time she got something for one of them, she got for the other. And it was the same with myself and my sister, because I mean, I and my sister were very chummy, we're very sweet, but we're not in the same country. But with my brothers, they cannot sleep on the same bed without contact. Like, you know how you just need to know that I'm there, you're there. They literally would fight. My mom said when they were growing up, I even saw it. They literally would have a squabble and they go back and forth. But when they want to go to bed, you see them hugging themselves. I'm like, what are you people doing? Literally hugging, like they cannot not sleep on the same bed.
They're so cool with each other. They've bonded. Like they know their blood.
Yes.
And sometimes I think we talked about the fact that parents sometimes do not encourage it. I also think that we come from, again, the African culture is one that looks at age. I will use an example, and this is not a shade or anything of the sort, but this is just to highlight the point. I know that in the Yoruba culture, if you're older than that person, they call you sister or auntie. They call you that way. And I feel, I don't know, personally, and don't come for me now, this is just me asking a genuine question. Do you think that sort of finds a way to alienate one from the other? Oh, my elder sister, so if I have to call her sister, that bond just is a little the word obstructed by the fact that I have to call you a certain way, and I just wonder.
And sometimes, do you think that maybe that is a way to show some sort of respect for that older sibling? But guess what? Even in all of that, we still see them disrespecting. So
you
disrespect can actually come through.
Sister, no disrespect, but you are not alright. You understand?
Sister me.
But see, while I know that it's a sign of respect, I think I think respect comes naturally if you do the right thing. I think that we're sometimes we go overboard with this, trying to get everyone to respect everyone. Because again, if I want to call you auntie, I will find it hard to actually be able to talk to you. My sister is in her 50s. I'm like 15. Don't hate.
Appreciate.
But I can call her. I can call her by her first name. I can also I sometimes just call her big sis, you know. But I don't have to
do like the auntie or sister.
To be too careful around her. So, do you think that is part of the problem? That this whole thing about culture and respect can sometimes actually create that distance between siblings?
So. Okay, another question that I have at the back of my mind, yet again, because of the society that we find ourselves in, especially in Lagos, being that Lagos is a melting pot for all a sundry.
Hold that thought.
I would say what I'm going to say after this call.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, sir?
My name is Emmanuel, calling from Lekki.
Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Yeah. All right. On this topic, it's something that is very, very, it's a serious topic, a serious issue in a family setting these days.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, I'm from a polygamous home, right? I lost my mom. I think I was about 5 when I lost my mom then. My immediate elder brother, we had to be separated. I went to the north. He was in Lagos and all that. I lived most part of my life in the north. But when I came back to Lagos, I think I was 13. I was about entering my JSS3 then. I came to Lagos. My brother, I think, fight almost everything, and he beat me through black. But as we grew up, I started noticing some things about him.
Okay.
That whatever he does to me then was out of love. Like I said, we came from a very large family, right? We are talking about 11, 12 other siblings aside the two of us.
That's a lot of siblings.
So, growing up, everybody has a way they want their life to, right?
Yeah.
True.
There are people who feel like, for me, for example, I cannot be in a space where somebody is not adding value to me. I cannot be in a space where somebody, we are not in sync with certain perception about life, right? So, when I came back at 13, the fighting still continued and all that, right? But later on, I gained admission, he traveled out of the country, And I started noticing that this guy shows me love. We discuss very serious issues. You know, do you know, as we speak now, he is more intentional in terms of family bonding than I am. For example, he lives in SA. Now, he can go as far as booking a flight for his family just to come spend some time with us.
Wow, that is so sweet.
As I speak to you now, his kids are around as we speak.
Oh.
In Lekki. I just moved to Lagos about 3 months ago, and guess what? I currently work for him. I have a company just established in Nigeria.
Oh.
I have to leave the telecoms industry. Imagine me leaving the telecoms industry and coming to work.
Wow.
That's just to tell you. And I had a fantastic career. I've grown to the level of a regional manager, right?
Oh.
Coming to leave that space, it's not as if I was sent out of the business. So I honorably resigned just to come work, you know, for my brother, right? I had this company here in Nigeria. Now, what I'm trying to say here is, you know, at times, as you grow, you know, I still have other siblings that we talk, yes, but that bond is not there, right? It's because we have different perception about life. We have different orientation and all that. It's not as if I'm beating them or anything is wrong with us, no. But you tend to think more with somebody who you feel is on the same page with you. I can tell you for free, growing up, this was the same person that helped me to be closer to God than any other person in life. No pastor can preach to me, aside the people who are close to me, that will make me go to God.
So let me ask you one question, Ima. Sorry to interrupt you, but what would you advise this guy to do, Yinka, about his sister Kemi and finding this bond all over?
You know, for them, I think it's even easy because it's just two of them, just like you said, right?
Yes.
Two of them. I think it's easier. I think they just need to communicate more. I think this relationship went south when they were aware more about life and they refused to start talking about certain things. It's not because one went to school and the other, at least even if they go to school, they could still communicate and all that. You know, communication is everything. But if you don't communicate, if you don't, like for me, like I said, I can be quiet, I can be a very quiet person, but I need to be in a space where somebody is allowing me express myself so I can express myself. And that's what my brother does.
Thank you, Ima.
Thank you so much.
And I think we have a fantastic relationship.
I'm so happy for your relationship. Like, this is beautiful. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh my goodness, that is so
That was really
sweet.
good. I mean, at 5 he went to the north and then came back at 13.
Yeah, and then they
you know,
had the squabbles.
Exactly.
But he had
There's
to
that.
learn
There's
that
that.
there are ways of showing love to each other,
other.
that might not look like the typical way. My younger brother and I, we used to have a thing that would say at each other. If you heard us, you wouldn't know that it was us playing or hailing each other. You would
serious?
think it is spiteful. I can't say.
Okay.
I can't tell you everything. My very first boyfriend always had a problem with. I'm like, no, don't worry.
That's my brother.
That's in my business.
Oh, guess what? My brother had something that he used to say to me. I cannot say.
I had the same
But
thing.
I'm like, okay, I don't want to have to say it because it's like I'm like this boy. I'll tell you off.
My younger sister and I used to have that as well. One day, my elder brother, I don't know if he asked me or he asked for my phone and wanted to call her and saw what I named her. It's like, why would you call her that? I'm like, it's a running joke between both
It's
of
inside
us.
joke.
But, you know.
Like I want to go back a bit to what we're saying, especially with culture that you had mentioned about the relationship between siblings, especially with the auntie, uncle, or my big brother, my big sister, brother or sister. I think that for me, my siblings call me Auntie Gift because maybe because I had a cousin who was Auntie Mary. So because she was my cousin, we literally did that as a sign of respect. But like I said, Lagos is a melting point for all our sundry. Hence, the Yoruba culture has sort of infiltrated our minds.
Can we just debunk one situation? Can I just quickly get us to understand that you cannot call the person who is your sibling auntie?
Yes,
it's
of
wrong.
course, it's wrong.
Because
Yes.
auntie is that she's related to your father or your mother.
Yes, she's your father or mother's brother or
Yeah.
sister. So that's why I said that the culture here, we sort of got accultured in the wrong way, sort of. Owing to the fact that now you see this, auntie, uncle that of course, Yorubas use it a lot. Auntie me, brother me, sister me. Yeah, a lot of people use it a lot. And I mean, being that I grew up in Lagos, I was filtered with all the Lagos people, amazing people, by the way. It just goes to say that sometimes it's not that you want to say it, but it's just what you've seen in your environment that has informed you. That's why we're having this conversation.
In fact, we have to have a conversation around this
auntie, uncle. Yeah. So you can call bro sis. I mean, I said my sister's name as Little Angel, my brother's baby bro, and all of that. Yeah, so she's Little Angel. She's always been that since she was young. Well, in case you're just tuning in, it's the Family Matters show right here on the Super Breakfast Show, and we're talking about the beautiful dynamic sibling relationship that has existed over time. And we had a case study of a young man who is Yinka. He's married now with kids. His sister is also married with kids, but they haven't had the most beautiful relationship. She had to go to school. As kids, they didn't have that. She had to go to school. And then from there on, I think he had to travel abroad.
They kind of went apart.
They went apart. And the relationship didn't quite mature into something that would make them bond.
Yeah. So they don't really, siblings. Check up on each other as siblings would do. If I haven't heard from my sister like a few days, I'm like, sis, what's up? Are you okay? I've not heard from you. You're not picking my calls. Just send me a word. Just let me know you're okay. The same way. So they don't have that kind of bond. And his problem is, I have 2 kids. I have a 9-year-old. I have an 11-year-old. And except there is an event that's happening in mommy and daddy's house, we don't get to, my sister and I and the kids don't hang out. Her kids and my kids. So I'm trying to get, an opportunity to bond between us, because my kids, I don't, he said to me at some point, he said, I don't know if as we grow older, the way that we're growing, I don't know if my kids will be able to recognize their cousins.
Exactly. Or even have like a beautiful relationship. My brother always says that he cannot wait to come and dump his kids at my house. Like he says, I can't wait when we get older. Just, you know what? Go to Big Mommy's house. I'm like, oh, you've already started calling me Big Mommy at this age?
When I have my twins, my sister is on standby. She wants triplets. I'm like, don't stop it. Twins. Boy and girl, thank you very much for coming. We're done. We have a message here that says, I am the eldest of 5. As a Yoruba person, we don't do the sister or auntie thing. But all my siblings are completely respectful. I think it depends on each family.
Right.
As parents, we need to foster unity amongst all children, which my parents, my mom, did. You can tell that there's a story. There's
a story there.
We would like to also, hear from you. What do you think that this guy can do to mend fences with his sister? Because that's actually the goal, to help him mend fences with his sister. How do they start that relationship that they didn't when they were kids? And then what do you find that, do you have that sort of case in your house? How did your parents help the bonding between you and your siblings?
And I see that largely, especially with the last texter, he says, as parents, we need to foster unity amongst children. Well, call us 0705 6900927. 0705 6900927. I saw a story one time. It was a movie I watched. I can't quite remember the name of the movie, but it was an Indian movie where I think twins or sisters, I can't quite remember. One of them actually committed a crime and the other had to cover up for her. So something happened when they were growing up, and it was so sad. Their mom died as a result of their father's, maltreatment. But let's take this call.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. What is your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Elijah calling from Abulegba.
Elijah. All right, Elijah, it's great to have you on the Super Breakfast Show today. Talk to us. How's the dynamic or the relationship between your siblings and your siblings? And how do you hope we can help Yinka and Kemi bond their relationship, bring back their relationship?
Okay. Firstly, I'm the last boy in my family of 5.
Okay.
I'm kind of guy that I don't talk too much. Like, if they call for family meeting, I don't just say I'll concur with it. But you get one person who say, my brother is one that usually puts me along, that like, just don't be moody. Just try to say something once in a while. Just in a while, just try to take the family, take hope all is well. That kind of person I am. And about the guy, Mr. Yinka and Mr.
Kemi.
So me, I thought they should go from the drawing board, like where they started from. they should go back and check whether someone is not in between two of them. Because there are some friends that might be in between siblings.
Right.
Like some friend, like that happened to my family before, that a friend is in between my siblings. I thought my siblings I don't be behind it, not knowing that it's his friend that is using my people against me. So they should check where the mistake came from. They should go back from the drawing board where they start together, like where they started from. They should sit down together and settle the issue, because family is important.
Yes,
family is important.
You cannot do without family. Wherever you may go, you will still come back to family and settle the issue. So they should check where they get wrong and settle it. They should sit down one-on-one like a mature human being and settle it. Because without family, you cannot move anywhere. Your family is very important. You surely come back to where you start from.
Okay.
So that's what I would say.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Family is an important thing. And I feel like...
there's a way you say things.
Yeah, I said family is not an important thing. Family is everything. Because I like that he said no matter where you go, you definitely find your way back home. Because those are the people that would even accept you in the rubbish that you have done.
Yes.
That's like, I like that.
In all your imperfections.
Yeah. It reminds me of something really short that happened. Someone broke a phone in my hostel of a friend. And usually for me, of course, I'm very family oriented. But then I learned something from that thing. She goes, oh, I see her on the phone and she was talking, hey, Daddy, I'm sorry. I'm like, wait, you called your father? And she goes, who would I call? Even if everybody decides to throw me away, my family would never do that. So, I mean, in that particular point, I'm like, I realized that, you know what? Because I had been distant after my father's death and a little more distant from my family because, I mean, my father was my best friend and it was just a lot of things I had to deal with at that time. And so seeing that she called her dad, even in that situation, her father was the first person that she called. Daddy, I messed up, I've done this, and I don't know. Her father said, okay, you know what? Your next alawi or your next allowance, we're going to deduct from there, but we're going to sort this out. And seeing that happen just made me come to the realization that, you know what, family is not an important thing, it's everything.
You take me back to this other conversation about how kids are standing with each other and siblings don't defend each other when they need to. So I've seen a young man that his friends were bullying his younger brother and he was watching it. Kids. What? His friends were bullying his younger brother, but the kid wanted to be cool. So he just played along.
My Francis, I don't have it, because God.
Just played along. And there a lot of times where you see, because the parents are not teaching them to protect each other, to care for each other, to be there for each other. In the case of Yinka and Kemi, somebody says, since there doesn't seem to be a major fracas, Yinka should simply start checking in, not pushing it, but making sure she realizes he's always there. Once they're regularly in touch, they can find time to discuss their relationship.
Thank you so much for that.
I'm going to throw a cog in the wheel. Yes, thank you very much for this. But what if she's not being receptive
to that?
You know, sometimes, have you ever called somebody or somebody has called you and you guys are kind of bloodly close, but when you just... I don't know if I want to talk to you. I'm not in the mood.
But I think that because they're siblings and they come from the same home, she would know that her brother is doing something good, is trying to make that relationship work.
She might not. Depends on where her head is at. Yes. Okay,
so like she said, constantly call, constantly text and checking. Oh, I'm here for anything. Yeah. At some point, she would realize that, her brother is actually there and she will do the calling at some point.
I feel like there's a conversation that needs to be had
first before the checking in.
Yes, yes. And this is why I say that. You know, you might find tomorrow that when you're having the conversation with that sibling, there's a grievance that they're holding against you the whole time. So even if I'm trying to do the whole check how you are and everything,
it's like emo behind.
Yeah,
like okay,
you know,
yes, whatever, right?
Yeah, I don't know why you're trying to do this, but you know what you did. And the more you call, the more you check in, the more they say you're feeling guilty.
You know what you do. You did rather.
No clue whatsoever.
So the conversation should ensue first.
Like, see, suffer now. We don't cheat. Suffer now. Let's hook up.
What's happening with your life?
Yeah, let's have a sit down I don't know your kids. I want to spend time with that kind of conversation. Or is there something wrong? Or
Is there something I can do?
Is there something wrong in the first place? You know, I want to be closer to you. I think about you all the time. I just don't call you as Abitul Stasha. Time is not our
You know
friend.
this bully thing. My baby brother, who is the last born of the house, saw someone who was older than both of them bullying him, and he held him in the trousers and took him to my mom. Oh no, my brother is big. Like he's that. I told you, Akwobi. He literally has the muscle. And so this guy goes on bullying his older brother. And he was just standing there looking at him. I was like wondering, what's really going on? My baby brother, the one before him, is a peacemaker. He really doesn't like issues. Like, don't worry. They say,
Like,
no,
we don't like
I will
trouble.
report you to my mother and you are following me now. Held him in the trousers and it was at a meeting. So my mother, CW, Catholic Women Organization of Nigeria, she was there sitting down, focusing on the meeting. Tell me why she sees my brother dragging a boy saying, Mommy, this boy just nearly beat Francis up. Yes. But see,
Listen, we gotta go.
you need to
Time is
stand
not
up
our
for your
friend, but
siblings.
thank
Yeah.
you very much for all the messages
everyone
and
who
the
actually called.
calls. Thank you for reacting to it. Again, I will give Yemi Yinka this feedback, and hopefully Kemi and Yinka, if there's an update, I will come with the gist.